happy, following the blues. We love you, what more can we say? Birmingham's the team, down at St Andrews. We are all supporters of our team. We chant at Super Blues, ringing all around. Now all you blue boys know what we mean.
You know, so yeah, I mean, the only thing I thought as well, I mean, we didn't play, obviously Roberts missed out, didn't he, on Saturday, and the only thing the main thing that Roberts gives us is his aerial power, isn't it? You know, when the ball comes in the air, he more or less wins everything in the air. You know, he's not great with his feet. He can't pass the ball very well. You know, he's a bit of an old school centre half, but I think that is important. You know, sometimes when you need, you know, you do need that physical presence sometimes in the team. But you know, I thought on Saturday we did okay, didn't we? And you know, obviously Jordan Graham came into the team, obviously for Roberts, and Colin went to centre half, didn't he? So you know, we've got a bit of strength in depth there. It's not a bad first 11 when everyone's fit, and you know, I think Troy Deeney against the Baggies was outstanding as well. He had a great. And yeah, you know, overall, no real complaints from me. If I'm going to be a bit picky, obviously, I'd like to think that we could have got the 9 points out of the last 9, but you know, that's probably been a bit greedy. But at the end of the day, it was there on offer, wasn't it? You know, but we'll take 7 from the last 9 all day long. And if we'd have drawn with the Baggies and beat Coventry, then we probably would have been feeling even happier, wouldn't we? So, you know, we wouldn't have I probably wouldn't have been complaining as much. So, you know,
so loads of positives then.
Absolutely. I mean, if you just
over the last 3 games, but you want that to be over 15 games, and you know what I mean. You want to go in longer. You want your form to be good. You want your consistency to be good for longer periods of time than just 2 or 3 games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, let's see how we go in the next 3 or 4 games. And I really hope that we can keep this level of performance and keep picking up points, because that's what this league's all about, and getting results. And, you know, more importantly as well, scoring goals. You know, we've got to keep scoring goals, and we can't just rely on Scott Hogan to score the goals. We need Chong, we need Bakuna, we need Deeney. You know, we need all these players to start bringing more goals, don't we, as well?
Yeah,
I mean, touching on from that, it'd be nice if you know, the back foot, the defence started chipping in with a few goals as well.
Yeah.
You know, like I say, spread the load all over the place.
Yeah. I mean, Colin got one at Preston, didn't he?
He did.
Which was good. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, it'd be good to see us maybe score a header off a corner or something like Radid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think people thought Coventry were going to come over and let us, you know, roll over them and tickle their tummies on Saturday. And the fact was they set themselves up because they didn't want to concede. And, well, yeah, we had that glaring chance, like you mentioned, Paul. Yeah, any other day and he would have put that away. But it was... the thing I liked was the fact that we actually kept them to just shooting from afar. And the only thing that did worry me was each one was getting closer. But then in the second half, Cov came out as a different team. In fact, they reminded me very much of what we were like last season.
What rubbish?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. That's the polite way of putting it. But I think it's all positives, and to go into the break now with not conceding, not losing games in 3, is all positive, and it's all things we can build on.
Well, you compare the 4-2 when we lost to Cov 4-2 just a few months back to now. It's like chalk and cheese.
Yeah.
You know, the standard of defending so much better.
I think Coventry. I think Coventry are in a bit of a false position, obviously, because they've got a lot of games to catch up on it now with their pitch. You know, so I think they are.
Pressure's on them, though, Paul. You know, I mean, as much as I look at it as I think they've got 3 games in hand, haven't they, over most teams? But actually, I wouldn't fancy being a Coventry fan at the moment, because if they don't win those games or at least get some results, then they're going to start looking at it thinking, "Oh my God, we haven't got this in hand anymore." You know, we are in trouble, and.
Sorry to butt in again, Craig. Yeah, I mean, obviously, sort of living over here and working with them, we're talking about the game on Monday, and a lot of them are saying that they do fear that if they've sort of the bubbles burst. Robin seems to have lost interest, and it could be the year they're in a lot of trouble, and they've got the ground issues as well. So, yeah, I wouldn't like to be in their shoes. No
I
way.
think draw was fair on Saturday, but you know, I wouldn't I don't know if they could have complained if we'd have nicked it 1-0. I don't know. We definitely had the better chances. You know, you got to be putting at least one of them away, haven't you? Really. But I did say as well, Trusty at the end. You know, pulled back. To be honest, I thought that could have been a
shot. Yeah,
could have been a penalty. Again with VAR, it might have been given. You know.
Yeah. You wanted to come in on that, Alan? Did you?
I was just thinking that the Coventry situation, having had another week's games called off, they've got to catch up 4 games, and we've got a month off with the World Cup. They're going to be like Rotherham were during the lockdown, when they had to play 3 times a week almost, and they just didn't do it, did they?
No.
And you can't see Coventry being in any other situation. You know, and we've still got the FA Cup to come and so on. They'll be playing catch up. You know, they're not going to get out of that bottom 3 being 3 games behind. And when they get to play the games, it's going to be such a struggle. I sort of chuckled when their games were called off because of the Commonwealth Games, you know, because I'm thinking, why on earth are these matches being played in Coventry and not Birmingham? But putting that aside, it's awful bad luck. I know what sort of money they were given to stage these games, so you know you can't have it both ways. But it is a ludicrous situation that to find themselves in. I mean, as I say, Rotherham had the same problem, and just they were looking good until they lost those 4 games, and then when. I mean, we went there and beat them, and somebody else went there and beat them, and so on. And they went down in the end. And I can see Coventry having the same problem.
Yeah. No, I think we're looking a lot better now. You know, and without sounding like a broken record, I would like to see. Well, I'm going to sound like a broken record. I don't know why I even said that, but I would still like us to go to a back 4 and free up that extra man in midfield. I think we'd be even better, we'd create even more. But that's just my opinion. You know, if it works doing this formation, if we're going to go on, you know, good runs and get good results, then obviously, like I've said before as well, I'll be all for it. But you know, our experience of this formation so far as Blues fans over the last 4 or 5 years has been nothing short of a disaster, really, has it? To be honest. So you know, maybe this is the guy that can get us going with it. We'll see. Only time will tell. Can't get too carried away after a couple of positive results. You've got to sort of start doing it more consistently and week in, week out. And I think if we can keep everybody fit, you know, certainly in those 3 in midfield, then we could start putting runs together of 6, 7, 8 games without losing, and win maybe 5 in 8 or 5 in 9. You know what I mean? And start climbing the table a bit. Because I'm sick to death of seeing us 17th or below now. It's about time we started to push up a little bit. You know what I mean?
It's getting boring now, isn't it? Yeah. Again, what became apparently obvious on Saturday as well is just the forward options. I mean, we looked on the bench, and there's not a lot there at all. I think we're crying out for another striker. But having said that, I know people have mentioned Lyle Taylor, but I think that boat sailed. You know, I think a few weeks back it might have been possible, but I think that's dead now, isn't it? I would have thought.
I think so. I think so.
Yeah. We'll see.
I've been asked to ask Paul, what does he think about VAR in the Championship?
I'm all for it. You know, I've said on here before as well that I like the thought of you know, coming away from the game, winning or losing fair and square, and you're going to get more right decisions with it than without it. I know there have been, you know, it's not being used properly really in the Premier League, and most of the issues with it are the people that are using it and not the actual technology itself. But things that are clear and obvious, like that ball outside the box, like that goal at Hull last season. I mean, I'll go back even further. AJ in Cardiff. David and Gog's dive at Liverpool, you know, stuff like that's happened to us over the years. It's just nice to know that it's impossible for it to happen against us again with it. You know, and you know, I'm all for it, mate. Yeah, I'd rather be with it than without it. Yeah, I think it's just there as an, you know, to help the officials get to the right decision, because it's difficult for them, isn't it, at the pace the game's played at now. It's difficult for them to keep up with it, and you know, you can't. Certainly the linesmen as well. you know, you can't see. Sometimes you've got bodies in your way, haven't you? And you can't see fully across the line. So for offside, I think it's a great addition.
Not just for goals though, and penalty decisions. For me, VAR is an opportunity to pull up on those people that are, as a classic example, taking a dive outside the box and getting a penalty decision.
Yeah,
but not just that, the cheating that goes on in the game, the people still going down as though they've been shot when they've never been touched. VAR should be there to utilise for that as well. Unfortunately, and this happens in the Premier League at the moment, it's only there for when a mistake is made by the referee. And then there's only another referee correcting the mistake the referee's been made. So it's always down to interpretation. And Paul, I'm all for VAR, but I want it to be that they're an independent party that evaluate the decisions rather than, you know, Joe Bloggs and his mate, which is ultimately they all work together. So they've got to be separate.
Wouldn't it be worth getting a couple of ex-pros in there that are kind of like got no connections to either club?
Yeah,
I did read the other day actually around
that's a great shout
coming into it, and I think that's an absolutely fantastic idea. And a range of pros as well. You know, don't just stick with somebody that's been there and done it in the Premier League, but go for the lower leagues. Also look at every position, because you should have somebody interpreting a decision based on where they've played rather than a game. I think that's right. And I think the game would get 1,000 times better with it. It's already getting there. Goal line technology is already an improvement on where we were, and that took time, but has got better when it's plugged in, that is.
But then you say that though, Craig, and you know, I think VAR in that occasion there should be able to intervene, you know, because it's clear to see that it did, you know, for whatever reason, it wasn't working. I know the incident you're talking about, we won't mention it again, but, you know, VAR then should intervene and say, look, you know, this ball is over the line. You need to give a goal, you know, so it should get that in his ear. That's it. Simple as that.
Definitely.
You know, so...
Just going back to the game on Saturday, can I just say, and also at the Albion, the fans on both sides, amazing with the silence, with the singing of the national anthem. I don't think I've been in St Andrews when it's been that quiet for any silence at any point in time. So, you know, brilliant from everybody's front, and in fact across the whole of the country, really, every football fan has abided. Apart from one team in Scotland that we're not going to mention, but
well, there was two teams in Scotland that did it.
Was it Hibs or Hearts? I can't remember. Dundee.
No, Dundee United.
Dundee United, yeah.
Who have similar affiliations, shall we say, to Celtic. It was inevitable, you know. I don't know why people are being surprised, but yes, obviously I wasn't at the Albion. I watched that on telly, but the Coventry one was excellent, and I was, you know, you were proud of everybody in that ground. I just wish it had happened the Saturday before. I think it would have been even better then. It went on. We had to wait too long. But I mean, that's another story, really. The powers that be just got it wrong, basically. You know, you can have a test match played on, ironically, the Duke of Cornwall's estate, which is the Oval, right? It actually belongs to the now King, and it was okay to play there, and the crowd reacted perfectly, etc., because it was on the day. And we had to wait a week to sort of express our feelings.
I think the reason for that was because you got, obviously, the cricket fans. Was it South Africa we were playing? Sorry, wasn't it? You got the African fans that had obviously travelled from South Africa to watch it. You know, so that might have been part of the reason. And, you know, I can't really think of any other reason why that test match was on and the football was off. You know, I really don't know, to be honest. I ain't got a clue. But I had to laugh last weekend though, because they called all these fixtures off in London because of the you know, the amount of police that they needed. But then they cancelled Man United as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they were all coming from London, Paul. They couldn't travel.
Anyway, yeah.
That's a strange one, isn't it?
Myself at that one, yeah. But yeah, I think the funeral on Monday was just absolutely incredible.
Ah, incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
What a send off for her that was. It was just
Well, you couldn't turn away from it, could you?
I didn't move for 7 hours, Mark. I was there all the way through.
No, I mean hand on heart, I'm not a royalist.
I'm not either.
But it was just mesmerising.
Yeah,
it really, and like you say, it didn't make you proud to be British. It really was, because it's a once in a lifetime event.
We're the only country that could have done it and pulled it off. America try, America fail, and every single time we can pull it out of the bag.
And the lads who carried the coffin, well, I mean, they deserve.
Oh yeah,
they deserve the cold point after that. That was for sure. I mean, doing up them steps, I was a bit uncomfortable in my seat. I was like, oh, you know.
Yeah,
they did a great job, didn't they?
Yeah. So just getting back to the Albion game. So it was quiet for the 2 minutes, and then at Coventry it was quiet all the way through the game.
Yeah.
The atmosphere was dire, wasn't it?
Non-existent. Yeah.
What's the answer? What is the answer?
Score goals, Chris.
Is it as simple as that?
Yeah, you got about a bit of give and take. I mean, obviously you need the fans behind you to get you going as well from the players' side. But even if we create, I mean, Bakuna obviously got his chance, and that probably that got the crowd going a bit. But you've got to be doing it more often, ain't you, to get the crowd singing "Keep Right On" more often and going, be more positive, if you like, It
was nice for the team to, sorry, Mark, for the team to come out onto the pitch to keep right on. Actually, it was. I know it was for the occasion in a way, but it was so nice for them to come out to that, and that did the end of that song. Actually, everybody was joining in with the slow version. That for me's got to continue. It was
Craig. When we sing the slow version, there is absolutely nothing. There's not an anthem like it.
No.
Anywhere.
And it was hairs on end. That's the simple thing about that. Yeah. The club have got to look to take that forward. Let's do it again. Realise, listen to the fans. Wasn't working. Now we've got something that we can latch on to. In terms of the atmosphere, the one thing that really irritated me was listening to the amount of people that started slating the team because we weren't going and beating Coventry.
Yeah,
and we got a result against West Brom. It's not going to happen every single game. And why people think still we are world beaters,
I don't get it.
On me, and calm down a little bit. We've won a couple of games. They've both been away from home, but if they're not noticed, as soon as they play at home, it's, for me, an added pressure. If we could play every game away from home, we'd be sorted.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, most definitely.
You like that though, should it? We need to bring better results at home as well. And you do want consistency at any level of football. And I just think that if we free that extra man up in midfield and go forward at the back, there you go. I've said it again. Then we will create more. We will create more. Sometimes we've got 5 at the back and we're playing too deep. And we will create more naturally if you're committing more men forward.
I think this side, looking over at the Tilton, the bottom tiers, empty. I mean, people like Bakuna, maybe Jordan Graham, to have a lower tiers, baying for blood sort of thing, that'd make a hell of a difference. I can't. I mean, like I say, my season ticket's moved, and I can't wait to get back because it's just. I think it'll make a hell of a difference having those bottom tiers back open.
Yeah. But I do think the Tamper's run its course now. The music they walk out to, I think that's had its day now. In my opinion.
Yeah,
and I think Keep Right On would be a great replacement, to be honest, if we did it every game.
Yeah, Paul McCarthy's just said the same thing. Please get rid of the Tampere.
Yeah.
It's had its day.
It has had its day, 100%.
It has had its day. Yeah.
You mentioned JJ a couple of times there, and it's fantastic that whilst it's through injuries, but he's got his full Wales call up into the squad. And I don't know if people have seen it, but the video of their captain turning up, they made a big thing of it. So you got Mr. Bale walking into the room and saying hello to everybody. But what was fantastic was when he walked up, you saw the new guys, JJ there on camera, and he turned around and he's going, simple. You need anything, you know where I am. And to have somebody around doing that, and, we've got Wales in the World Cup. I hope we stuff them. I don't care what they do at this present moment, but that's nice to see. And that can only help JJ in his way forwards. And hey, if he keeps on playing and he gets picked, who's to say he can't get to that World Cup squad? Wicked.
We were saying before, it could be a weird little sort of Blues connection. You've got obviously Jude with England. You could have JJ with Wales, and Trusty could be called up by America.
Yeah.
So,
Jude has to start. Jude has to start in the World Cup. In my eyes, there is just no. He's up there with Kane for me now as the first name on the tee sheet. We probably Kane. I'd probably say Kane, Rice, Sterling, and for me, Jude's in that bracket now. He has to play, has to start. But I've just got this horrible feeling that Southgate will probably pick Mason Mount instead.
Yeah. He's got his opportunity over the next 2 games, hasn't he? Now for me, he's got to play in the 2 Nations games, and he's if he starts and he carries on playing the way that he has been for Dortmund, and let's look at it this way: he's set a new record for the youngest British person scoring as many goals in the Champions League.
Pretty good.
It stands out a mile for Dortmund. They're valuing him at 133 million.
Yeah,
and that as well. Fed up of hearing we've only got 5%. Nobody knows what percentage of a sell-on clause are wrapped into the club for Bellingham. So let's stop the scaremongering.
Everyone's guessing, aren't they?
Yeah, I whinge in a similar way about England as I do the Blues. When we play this 3-5, 3-4-3 or whatever it is. Again, I'd rather see us play 4-3-3, and I'd have Declan Rice, and the one player I'd have in midfield isn't even in the squad, which is James Maddison. I'd have James Maddison with Jude in front of Declan Rice, and then I'd probably have Sterling on the left, Foden on the right, and Kane through the middle. That'd probably be my team if it was up to me. But he goes for the 3 centre halves, and he's another defensive manager, isn't he? Southgate. He's defensive, but he does deserve credit. He does deserve a lot of credit though for getting into the business end of tournaments, and he's done a great job off the pitch as well. So I'm not sitting here moaning about him too much, but I just think when we get into them positions again, like we did against Italy, take the lead early, and against Croatia as well in the semi-final of the World Cup, I'd just like us to go for it a bit more to get that second goal rather than just parking the bus for 85 minutes like we did against Italy, trying to hold on to it. And don't get me wrong, if he would have held on to it, he would have been 90 by now. But I think, it's the fine margins for me, and we just invited them onto us too much. And it was inevitable they were going to score, wasn't it, last summer?
Yeah. Well, do we think we're capable of winning it?
Why not?
Let me rephrase it. Who do you think will win it?
I think France will probably win it. They had a bad Euros, and I think they'll be a bit wounded after that. So I think France have got the best team on paper for me, that's for sure. They could pick 3 great teams, but I don't know really. We've got the players to do. Certainly in forward areas and midfield. If he picks the players in the right positions and he makes the right decisions as well tactically at the right time, then we can win it. But we've got the players. Nice. The only thing that worries me, Mark, is the defence. The centre halves. We haven't really got a world beater at centre half, have we? To be honest,
we haven't.
No. And I've never seen a country win a World Cup without a fantastic centre half.
No, I mean it'd be interesting. I mean it'd be nice to ask our viewers and listeners who they think will win it. I mean, me personally, I've got a funny feeling Messi's going to go out on a high. I think Argentina might win it. But if just people can just comment who they think will win it.
We've got a chance
already.
Yeah.
Brazil.
Anybody's got. I mean, we've got a great chance. As long as Harry Kane's fit and firing, and we can sort of create chances for him, because he was a bit isolated in the final last year, wasn't he? Because we weren't creating anything. Again, we were just sat back. So as long as we sort of express ourselves, take the handbrake off, let the players go forward and express themselves, and the likes of Foden and Bellingham and players like that will be unplayable, or should be unplayable. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, can we ask any of our Scottish listeners and viewers to let us know how the soaps go next in the winter? Sorry.
No, just getting back to the Blues. Carl Williams wants to know, hey guys, what do you think of the new manager? So let's give a progress report so far. What do we think?
I think he's
promising.
Yeah, he started on the back foot. He was up against it from the time that he came in because he was only given a couple of weeks really to stamp his authority on it. Now I think we're beginning to see the benefits of what he can bring to the team. The one thing that stands out, he has definitely brought them together. The camaraderie's there.
Yeah.
And I love his passion. You know, we saw it at Preston in front of the fans. It was repeated at the Albion, and he came across, despite a 0-0, he came across to the fans on Saturday as well.
Yeah,
now,
did.
We haven't seen that really too much since. It seems really, I go as far as saying Lee Clark. I know we saw it a couple of times from both. But actually, the continual side, for me, is going back to that area. So, so far, so good. You know, if you were to write a report, he's probably got a C+. Still works to be done.
I do think that we got points where we should have got points, like at home to 10 men against Wigan. Obviously, we definitely should have won that game. If I don't know what happened there. I've got no idea what happened there. We didn't attack them at all, did we?
We didn't.
But we didn't do anything against them until we went a goal down, which was just so bizarre against 10 men. That was
very odd.
Overall, I'd probably give him a 6.5 out of 10, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
I think, like Alan said, that's the right word. Really promising. He's got potential to do well. So let's see what happens. I'd like to see what he'd be like with a bit of money to spend on the team. If ever if ever we get any investment. That's all gone quiet again, hasn't it? Seems to be like the never-ending story.
Yeah. Alan, what do you think so far, Alan? What would you say so far?
The results on the field of him are on the right track. We're the graph is going upwards now. I listen. The only thing that bugs me is I listen to the same interview prior and after every game, and I should have to stop listening because. But he's not alone in that, it will be a tough game, blah 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 blah. Yes, we've got no injury problems, and then on when the team comes out, you say, well, where's so and so, where's so and so, where's so and so. That annoys me, and the after interview, win, lose or draw, we take positives. We weren't happy with this, blah blah blah. I just wish he'd stamp some sort of personality on those occasions. I don't want him to be frivolous, but I want him to be a bit more explicit, not come up with the same stuff all the time. It's part of the job, and it's part of him getting a relationship with certainly the fans. Be a bit controversial if you like. I mean, he didn't say anything about the penalty against West Brom. He just said he didn't think it was a penalty. He didn't slag the referee off or anything like that, which I do like. Because you can't control those things. It's no good trying to control things that you're not responsible for. And he's good. He's good in that. But yeah, the progress. It's a bit annoying that we're on a bit of a run and we've got to have a fortnight's break. Having said that, so many injuries, we hope that in 2 weeks' time we got a bit more solid squad to pick from. But going back in the past, we've gone into these periods with injuries before, and come out and so yes, he's fit now, but we've lost 3 more, and that repeats itself over and over again. Yes.
I don't think it's a coincidence that results have improved since we've got Bielik in the team and signed Chong.
Absolutely.
No
Absolutely, yeah.
no disrespect to the lads there before. They've all got great talent and potential, but I just think for now, right here and now, Chong and Bielik are, are better two options than what we had in there before, and they've made a big difference, haven't they, in the midfield?
Well, I mean, like you say, Paul. I mean, Woods has swapped the Blues bench for the Hull bench, and Dunwich we don't even think about. No disrespect to those two, because they did try, but we're on a different path now.
Yeah, and I've got to say, Trusty, he's probably the best centre half I've seen play for us for probably since Michael Morrison.
Yeah,
He has got potential. He has got potential to play for Arsenal. I'd say eventually. He looks that good to me. As could eventually play for Arsenal, but he's certainly got. He reminds me of the way he plays, like Matthew Upson. He does remind me of Matthew. Gang,
very athletic.
Yeah.
Just going back to the atmosphere, Jason Hughes says, I really disliked engineered atmospheres. Clubs try too hard with flags and corporate banners. Atmosphere should be genuine and evolve, and will always come from what happens on the pitch, not necessarily results, but effort and desire. Yeah.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. The clappers.
I agree with Pete Taylor here. Our games tend to pan out depending on how Bakuna plays. I sort of touched on that.
Yeah.
And he can't, like I said, if he's going to perform like he did against the Baggies in every single game, he ain't going to be playing for us, is he? We'll probably, saying that though, at the same time, we'll probably get like 25, 30 million for him. But I don't know if he'll ever be that good, we'll see.
Any news on the takeover, says Gary Manda. Takeover? What takeover? That's all we can say.
That's all we can say, yeah.
I mean, Richardson and Lopez are obviously at every game now, aren't they?
And every week, yeah.
Yeah, so there's got to be something. There's no way they'd be attending games and doing what they're doing if they weren't confident that something was going to be signed, sealed, and delivered. Surely. So,
and back to the Coventry game. Tim Faraday says Coventry passed us off the pitch on Saturday. He reckons they look decent.
At times, yeah, definitely.
For half an hour.
Until we woke up. I think the longer it went on, the longer it went on, Chong got more of the ball, and he kept driving forward, and it was only a matter of time before he was going to. I think a few more 5 minutes or so more longer, we would have scored.
Yeah, Gary Mander's got a great point here. This drives me up the wall. So why do we take players just to get them fit? Then other teams take them when they could do a job for us. So this kid from West Ham, the left back again now, obviously being injured when he signed. We keep signing players that are injured, and we seem to be like the club where they come to get fit, and then it's just crazy, really.
Yeah,
Be interesting to see him play actually, because I think he's gonna factor into, I would say, the next few games. I can see there being this change after the international break. I know they say don't change something if it's not broken, but actually, going back to your point, Paul, we have an opportunity to play 4-4-2, and we're short on defensive players. So if he is fit, why shouldn't we make the change? Why shouldn't we give this kid a chance? Because looking at what West Ham fans say, and other areas as well, he's quite a talent. He's got a real opportunity to shine. Jason McDonough's made a really good point as well. Troy Deeney, a few weeks ago we had nothing but negatives about Troy Deeney, but actually he perhaps this number 10 role that he appears to be playing is suiting him down to a T. He's never going to score us hundreds of goals.
No.
Boy, does he work hard, and he's not afraid to get his foot in. I was loving his passion on Saturday and the way he had a go, and that G's the fans up as well. So I want that to continue, and I'm glad people have kind of got off his back, because whilst he's not scoring goals, he is still doing a sterling job.
Well, I mean, like you say, Craig, every time, even on Saturday when he was subbed, every time the ball went out, you'd see him geeing people up, being a real captain off the pitch. And it seems to have rubbed off on everyone. I mean, I even read an article today. I don't know if anybody else saw it. I think it was on the Birmingham Mail, but it was the online one. And he was saying how he's brought a touch of professionalism to the training ground. He's making sure the other lads speak to the reception staff. They all mingle together. They're never late for training. And it just seems he's loving being that captain role.
I think what it is, the reason a lot of people have got off his back is that they've probably realised the role he has at the club.
I think his game has improved though in the last sort of 3 or 4 games. He has, he has improved. Performance has improved. Again, I think it's not a coincidence that his form's improved as well since being strong of coming to the team. We're suddenly a bit more dangerous, aren't we, than what we were before, going forwards a little bit. And for me, I remember Tommy Mooney saying it when he came on, and he just said that Troy just needed a good pre-season and to get match fit, and he wasn't. Let's face it, another player when we signed him that wasn't match fit.
Yeah.
Plus the simple fact as well, Paul. He's 34 years old. He's in the twilight of his career. He's got 2 or 3, a couple of years. But he's not going to be a 25-year-old out-and-out goal scorer. I think people think he is, but he's not. He's not about that now.
No, I don't think he was brought in to be an out-and-out goal scorer.
No.
I'd like him to get more than 1 in 18. I'll be honest. I think he scored 1 goal for us in his last 18 games.
Yeah.
But, you're right. He's playing a little bit deeper now, and just try and make it 7 in 18 instead of 1.
Just dipping in and out to these comments. Darren Swift says Lopez and Richardson expiry date is apparently the 30th of September, so that's next week, isn't it?
Next Friday.
Yeah.
I believe they did attend a meeting with the EFL last week. The only thing I don't like is that we haven't heard too much from that meeting, but actually sometimes no news is good news.
Oh, definitely.
I also like the fact that they haven't gone off and constantly come out about things, because again, perhaps they're just keeping it under the radar to get this finalised. But I think the investment's there, isn't it? I mean, the interesting announcements around the reduction in the amount of loss that the company's going to make. That was a positive, and that's all part of what you would expect when an investor comes along. Let's just hope the EFL can listen to what everybody wants and help us get rid of the people that we don't want at the club, and not dwell on this. Who is the elusive Mr. King, and what involvement does he have? Because I really, despite what articles are saying, I can see that being a sticking point, and that worries the hell out of me. There's no money coming in. We will be in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't look there's much money coming into your electric meter either, Craig.
I know. I think I better switch the light. And I know, you see, I'm not even at home today. I'm looking after my folks here.
Every week there's an excuse. Oh, there we go.
I thought there was something wrong with my phone.
Now you can see my beautiful look.
Oh God! No, it's not,
I thought you were underneath the Tilton.
We got 10 minutes, so we're going to very quickly ask our...
Well, I can go till 22 now, so we'll just go over a little bit. We'll go over a little bit.
Week then. So obviously, as we know so far, though, obviously our regular viewers all know that we've been asking everyone to pick our underrated and unsung heroes, if you like, 1 to 11. And so far, we've got as far as the goalkeeper, the back 4, and the last player that was picked was Damian Johnson, wasn't it, on the left-hand side of midfield?
Yeah.
So we go for the first central midfielder this week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So for our underrated. Our underrated 11 this week, it's central midfielder.
Well, I want 1 central midfielder, please. What are we saying on here?
Yeah.
Can I chuck one in? He's a bit of a favourite of mine, and he chipped in with a few goals, and he played alongside Mark Ward, and that's Peter Shearer.
Yeah, that's a great shout. He was good.
He was class player.
Never really gets mentioned, does he?
That's a great first shout. That is,
First shout, actually,
yeah.
Yeah.
Really like it.
Michael Woods wants you to turn the light back off, Craig.
about,
Being so nice as well, Mr. Woods, in other messages, he has to get his dig in.
Yeah.
what about Stephen Clements? Does he get mentioned enough?
No, that's another good one.
Another one. Yeah.
Because I thought he was really good for us. He played really well.
Yeah.
Michael just says, sorry, join late. Where's Wally? I'm sorry, I mean Nick DJ Sport. Well, he's still working. Tried to get him on, and he's still working.
Jason Hughes and Michael Woods agree with you, Mark. Peter Shearer.
He's a great player.
Interesting. Keith Fahey has been mentioned as well by quite a few people. And
good player.
He was a fantastic player.
Yeah.
I do actually agree. I think he was underrated at the club.
I think so. Yeah. This is going to be a hard one this week. It really is. It really is.
Ken Doyle from Pete.
I'll throw in one blast from the past. Alan Campbell.
Yeah. He wasn't underrated though, was he? He was a great player.
Was he not a right winger?
Number 7, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was a central. He played central midfield. He had Howard Kendall on one side and Gary Pendry or Gordon Taylor on the other side.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the thing was, everybody in that team was overshadowed by Trevor. Everybody was underrated compared to him, and probably Latchford as well. He cost $50,000 from Charlton. And,
that's right. Yeah.
He basically.
I think they were called inside left.
He ran that midfield for 2.5, 3, 4 years probably.
I've got another one, Chris Marsden.
Yeah. Great
player
he was.
Was he at the Albion as well?
I think so. I know he was.
He was.
At Southampton,
He went to Southampton.
Mixture of names coming in at the moment. So we've got Medin Afti has had a couple of shout-outs. Gleghorn and Michael Woods, yes, definitely. Lewis Cisse.
Aliou Cisse,
yeah. He was a class player, wasn't he?
Yeah, I'd loved him to hung around.
We could go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I must admit, I'm with you, Mark. I think I'm going to say Peter Shearer as well because I thought he was good, and he doesn't get never gets
mentioned. No. Some of his goals were superb. Some of his finishing was brilliant.
Jonathan Hunt was in that. Lenny Peckham just said it exactly as I said. Typed it as I said. Jonathan Hunt, but I don't know if he was underrated though because he was quality.
He was quality, yeah.
Don't know.
Just going back to the state of the club, Pete Taylor says, I've got to be honest, I'm okay with the lack of comedy news making us look like a circus. Yep, I totally agree. Yeah, it does make a change, doesn't it? Yeah.
Does anyone feel any different about us retiring Jude's shirt? Or does it still feel the same as what you did when it happened?
I felt nothing, to be honest.
Yeah, I thought it was a bit... I thought it was a little bit...
I didn't understand it. It was a bit dramatic. It was a bit dramatic, I suppose. Yeah, it was. Yeah. But
the only thing I would say is that if it hadn't been for the sale of Jude Bellingham, we wouldn't be sitting here now. We were in deep. His sale basically saved the club, didn't it?
You're probably right. But nobody at the time. Nobody at the time got that.
I can see it, and I don't know who it was. Somebody made the cat. Well, we've not retired it. We're just reserving it for when he comes back. Well, that's hopeful, but
that's never going to happen.
It was.
A few other names that have been put in now. We've got Malcolm Page, Kenny Lowe, Ravel Morrison. We forget about Ravel when he was there, but he was
a wayward superstar, wasn't he? Really.
This Crystal Palace 4-0 away always sticks in my mind with him. He was unbelievable.
Yeah, that's class.
Yeah.
It was a class play. We've had a few of those that were actually class, but let themselves down.
We've had some good players in midfield that you forget all about.
Chrissy Holland. Chris Holland weren't a bad player.
Oh God, yeah.
I know he missed a penalty in the shootout
as well.
He was the new Paul. He was the new Paul Gascoigne, weren't he? When we signed him.
Yeah. He was good.
But we just tend to remember that penalty miss, don't we, in the shootout?
That's the problem, isn't it? Yeah, but his overall game was very good. Yeah, he was a good player.
Yeah, he was a good player.
I'm trying to think
Yeah.
about. I mean, it's a shame Muzzy Izzet couldn't stay fit because he was all right when he played. Same as Dave Dunn, but I wouldn't say they were underrated. They were just obviously unable to play, really, weren't they? More often than not.
Yeah.
Kilkenny and Kenny Lowe have come on the scene now. Chris Holland on loan, not as a permanent, says Michael Woods.
Yeah.
Tony Towers, that's going back a bit. He was a great player, Tony Towers.
For my time. But
Yeah, great player.
No, his brother Alton.
Yeah.
Barry Horn.
Barry Horn, yeah.
Horn, yeah.
Yeah, like say, forget about people like that.
Vinny Sideways.
Vinny Sideways. Yeah.
This is going to be a difficult one to pick, really. I'm not sure anything any have stood out on the shout box where they've been doubled up, have they?
I think
No, complete mixture. Peter Shearer at the moment, and I'm keeping tally. Peter Shearer, Chris Holland. We've also got Malcolm Page and Wade Elliott all on the same numbers.
And Nafty's on too as well.
Yeah.
Nafta, yeah, he's got a couple of votes as well.
Peter Shearer.
Does anybody remember?
Michael Woods has played for about 4 different players now.
Can we ban him? He's a troublemaker, isn't he? He's a troublemaker.
He's just said Mark Ward. He's one of the greatest players we've ever had in the middle.
Mark Ward?
Yeah.
Does anybody remember?
He's on drugs.
Does anybody remember Emilio Estevez?
Oh, yeah.
Was he a singer?
Ruby Estevez.
Louis Estevez, yeah. He played 45 minutes for us.
Yeah.
You don't get more underrated than that.
I thought it was a Spanish opera singer. I did.
I've got one. This name is so obscene. It's just come into my head, and I thought he was really good the season he played. Morgaro Gomez.
Gomez.
Yeah.
He was good when he played in the middle.
He was a little bulldog, wasn't he?
He was. He didn't have to get stuck in.
Yeah.
He was like our N'Golo Kante, wasn't he, at the time, if you like?
Yeah.
You know, and...
Really 4 foot nothing, wasn't he?
Yeah, I thought he did really well.
Yeah.
No, just as a shout out, Pete Taylor said, yes, Emilio Estevez, he was the coach of the Mighty Ducks.
Yes. What about David Davis?
Yeah, that's not a bad shout. Or Cliftonbell.
Yeah.
Cliftonbell, and, you know, did he get the credit he deserved? I think he probably did, actually.
Oh, he did. I think he did.
Yeah.
I think David Davis did as well.
David Davis, yeah. What about Stephen Gleeson?
Gleeson, yeah. He could be classy on his day, couldn't he?
Because he had a lot of stick around me at times, and
yeah,
was he underrated or was he? I don't know.
I think he got a raw deal. I've never quite understood why, because he was decent.
He was all right, yeah. He did all right for us.
Yeah, yeah. I've had a few, haven't we?
Yeah. Tom Addy,
Tom Addy, hadn't we? Yeah.
Barry Horn says Mark Brooks.
I used to call Adeyemi Tom, because his name was Tom. I used to call him Satnav, right? And the reason being, he knew where he was going, but he had no idea why.
Mark Ward was never replaced. The best central midfielder I've ever seen, says Michael Woods. No more chicken doors.
Ferguson came a very close second to Ward, though, in terms of that type of
Barry Ferguson. Yeah, he was like a whippet, wasn't he?
Ferguson, I'd say Ferguson just edges it for me over Ward. Only just. There's not a lot in it. But
No.
I think Ferguson was just outstanding. They were both outstanding, but I just thought
they weren't underrated though, I don't think. They were just class. And Mark Wood was class.
Yeah.
There'll never be another Mark Wood, I don't think. Yeah.
We're still stuck with those 4, by the way.
Yeah.
In terms of votes.
Yeah.
Wow.
That Craig Gardner fella wasn't too bad either, says Pete Taylor.
First time round, definitely. He was brilliant. First time.
Not so much second time. Yeah.
Lee Bowyer says
Yeah,
Marcus. And most recent, David Cotterill.
Yeah, right-sided though, when he right winger.
He weren't a centre mid, was
Yeah, it wasn't central midfielder.
he? Yeah.
Lilypad's asking me if I remember Limpar Anders.
Anders Limpar, yeah,
Anders
left.
Limpar, yeah.
He was
Yeah.
left-hand side, wasn't
He weren't centre, was
Played for Arsenal and Everton.
Yeah.
Else, obviously, yeah. Yeah, I do remember him.
he?
I think Peter Shearer's edging it, any Craig.
He just literally now got one more extra vote across the area, so he is ahead by one.
Yeah, I've got to be honest. I would probably vote him as well as underrated. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he played a huge part that season when we came up, and obviously won also wins from. But he was really.
Well, he chipped I said he chipped in a few goals as well.
Yeah, he did.
Come on, Alan.
he? He got injured. He got injured a month before the season ended, and never played again.
No,
that's typical Blues fortune. You got a real key player, and we lose him for the key part. That he didn't play in the final, the Auto Windshield, and never played in the big games at the end.
No.
he played well. I think he went off at half time at Wembley, Alan.
Did he?
I
I think he was subbed at half time. He had a really poor first half, and he went off.
I think Alan's had one of Nick's funny pills.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rewatch the video now to find out whether that's right.
What about Dan? Good shout from Mark Brooks. Martin O'Connor.
Oh no,
He's
Underrated.
he's not underrated. No.
Underrated.
And also Paul Tate as well, but he wasn't. He wasn't underrated.
I remember Darren Purse when he was on here saying, that Skip wouldn't be in most people's. When he was picking his 1 to 11, Darren Purse, he just said, I bet he wouldn't be in many fans 1 to 11s. He didn't really get the credit he deserved. He thought Darren Purse, and that's the only reason I've said it, because Darren Purse had that opinion, obviously. So,
I know it's a bit random, but Darren Purse put on Twitter the other day his daughter was at the funeral. She was like a sentry guard on the horse.
Yes.
He was buzzing.
I saw that. Yeah.
I've got one name that I don't know why it's coming to my head, but Darren Anderton.
Yeah, he did well for him.
He did all right.
Good old
Wasn't there
sickos.
long though, was he? Wasn't there long? No.
Just want to shout out to everybody as well, just by way of an update. We did get the results of the Football Content Awards come through to us yesterday. And whilst unfortunately we didn't make the final cut as a show, we were very close indeed.
Very close, weren't we?
10 votes short of making the cut. But we have ultimately been voted within the top 10 podcasts across the Football League. So thank you to everybody that did vote. We have, though, had 2 areas that were successful in going through to the next phase. And I want to give them a shout out because one of them is actually the club and the club's content. So 2 years on the bounce. But the other one, we've had people on from the area as well, but her game too. So, just encourage people to please vote for her game too, in terms of the work that they've done, not only for the ladies' game, but getting the ladies more involved. And hey, let's also get the club recognised, because I think the content they do and the work that he's completed behind that, Davo and the guys that do the streaming and stuff now, he's a hell of a lot better. And about time it was recognised. So you can vote for both of those, and I'll be posting the details of what's put out across Twitter, Instagram, or on the website. So let's help those guys achieve, hopefully.
That video that put out with the lad from Accessi Blues was absolutely amazing, wasn't it?
Was Lewis? Yeah.
Lewis, yeah.
I thought that was absolutely fantastic, wasn't it?
Lewis Mitchell, yeah. He lives in the road behind me.
Okay.
I've been round and seen him. Yeah. Nice lad. Yeah.
I've got another central midfielder, Danny Sonner.
Oh, yeah, cool. That's a great
Oh,
shout.
my
Yeah.
God. How the hell are we going to sort one out?
I'm still saying Peter Shearer, but I've mentioned Danny Sonner because I thought he was good, and again doesn't really get does he much.
No.
Yeah.
Gary Manda has said Kevin Broadhurst.
Wow.
Kevin Broadhurst, yeah. Brilliant. Can't fault
Incidentally,
him.
lads, I did go to Charlton on Sunday to watch the ladies.
Oh, did you? Well done.
I did, yeah. It was well, basically they missed the easiest chance of the lot, and they went down and scored from the restart. The second goal was a mistake by the keeper, and the third goal was a fluke. But apart from that, we weren't very good, to be honest. We were poor up front. We missed loads of chances, and the defence really. Once we went behind, they lost their assurance. That Charlton didn't look like they'd ever have an attack, let alone score. And yet it finished 3-0. But it's been very disappointing. But hey, we're still going.
Yeah.
Shout out to Stephen Gill on his write-ups as well. So thank you, Stephen, for the continued support across the ladies' side. Got a game at home, in fact, on Sunday against local rivals, Coventry. So,
and just quickly, you can follow all our blogs, both Stephen's and Alan Motton's, on tiltontalk.com. That's so easy to remember. tiltontalk.com.
Another quick question from me. So, were Darren Carter or Lee Carsley underrated?
Not Darren, I don't think. Carsley.
I mean, you say Darren.
I think Darren was underrated.
Do you?
Yeah, I mean, he scored us that penalty. Nobody will ever forget that. But he didn't really then get the run that you expected him to get. And he didn't stay at the club as long as I expected either.
It was a shocker when he went, to be fair. It was a surprise when he went.
I think the problem was we came up and obviously we got Savage, we got Clements, we got Brian Hughes there,
and
there was a few ahead of him, wasn't there? And obviously he wanted to play, which I don't blame him for. So, I think he went out on loan to Sunderland, didn't he?
Sunderland, yeah.
And came back and he played against them up the road in the game where we beat them 2-1 on their ground. That was his first game back after that loan, wasn't it, if I remember? And he was brilliant. He had some brilliant moments for us. I mean, he scored 2 great goals against Leeds in the Cup. Got a great goal at Fulham away as well. His overall game I thought was good. But everyone, you always just think of that penalty, don't you? A bit like, it's in a good way with Darren Carter, whereas with Chris Holland, it's in a bad way, isn't it? Unfortunately,
it comes down to penalty as well to me.
I'm still saying Peter Shearer. Is he getting the most votes still?
Peter Shearer has. There's been a late run for Carter, but Shearer's still ahead.
Okay. We'll tot it up after the show and we'll get it sorted. So I'm sorry, everybody, this is a bit of a shorter show than normal, but we'll be back to full strength, not this coming Monday because of the break, and we'll be back the Monday after.
3rd of October.
3rd of
October. Yep. So it's many thanks to Paul Hipkiss, Mark Adams, Alan Watton, and the one and only Craig Courtney. And we'll be seeing you again in a couple of weeks' time. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. And sorry about the sound problems at the beginning. It was nothing to do with us. It was all Craig Courtney's fault. And we'll see you soon. Ta-da a bit.
Ta-da.
Ta-da.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us. You've been listening to your Tilton Talk Show.